Terrifying scene. Collapse on Guangdong Expressway, nearly 50 dead. Exiled former Chinese Communist Party officials call out to Xi Jinping, demanding the return of property. Chinese self-media suffer as authorities launch a new round of crackdowns. Observers reveal their purpose. Economic recession. Net profits of China's 5 major banks fall in the first quarter. Chinese virologist Zhang Yongzhen expelled for leaking state secrets. Retaliation by CCP. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Terrifying scene. Collapse on Guangdong Expressway, nearly 50 dead. At 2:10 a.m. on May 1st, a sudden collapse occurred on the Meilong Expressway's Meida section in Dapu County, Meizhou, Guangdong. Witnesses recalled that cars suddenly lost control, and after emergency braking, they realized the highway behind them had disappeared, leaving only a massive pit. Soon, they heard continuous explosions and saw many cars in the pit catch fire, creating a horrific scene. A video circulated online shows a section of the elevated highway breaking apart, many vehicles plummeting below, followed by explosions, fierce fires, and thick smoke, with audible cries for help. Chinese authorities quickly censored the news, releasing a standardized report stating that the collapsed road section was 17.9 meters long and covered an area of 184.3 square meters, with 20 vehicles and 54 people falling into the pit, resulting in 24 deaths and 30 injuries. The actual data remains unclear. Witnesses said the pit formed by the collapse was 3 stories deep, and many of the cars that fell were burned to shells. Online posts mentioned that some kind-hearted drivers stopped vehicles behind them after noticing the collapse, saving many lives. In the evening of May 1st, people were still searching for missing relatives. There were public doubts as the official death and injury figures were much lower than the number of missing persons being sought by the public, and there were demands for the authorities to disclose the cause of the collapse. According to reports by the Epoch Times, a Chinese self-media person, Xingu, expressed concern that the death toll might rapidly increase and criticized the authorities for not conducting necessary safety inspections on the road. The Meilong Expressway, which opened in December 2014, spans 61.2 kilometers. According to our latest update, as of 5:40 p.m. Beijing time on the 2nd, the number of deaths has reached 48, with 30 additional injuries reported. Notably, on April 1, 2023, the Meida Expressway experienced a severe landslide. However, it was only by the end of April this year that the expressway underwent a complete inspection of potential safety risks along its slopes for the flood season. The day following the incident, China's state-run Xinhua news agency reported on May 2 that CCP leader Xi Jinping had directed actions in response to the landslide at the Chaiyang section of the Meida Expressway in Guangdong. He emphasized the need to maintain social stability. Exiled former Chinese Communist Party officials call out to Xi Jinping, demanding the return of property. On April 28, exiled former CCP official Du Wen released an open letter to CCP General Secretary Xi Jinping on Platform X, in which Du Wen stated that he was the former director of the Legal Advisory Office of the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region Government. His wife, Wang Weihua, said that she is an elementary school teacher in Hohhot, Inner Mongolia. Du Wen said, "We simply cannot bear the persecution by the CCP authorities that forced us into exile in Europe. We now release this video with immense sorrow." He expressed hope that Xi Jinping would see the video. "You are aware of what Du Wen's case is about. We know the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection has reported to you, and if you can't remember, please find the book about Du Wen's case on your bookshelf and take a look." Wang Weihua stated that her father, Wang Xuanzhu, suddenly passed away on April 28, 2024. The elderly man's final regret was not being able to retrieve the 101 silver dollars wrongly seized by the authorities in 2010. These 101 silver dollars were the only heirloom left to her father by his grandfather, and the relevant departments had decided to return these silver dollars to the elderly man in 2012. However, the elderly man refused to accept them at that time because he discovered some of the silver dollars had been swapped. Over the years, the elderly man had always demanded that the authorities return the silver dollars based on the photos and videos taken at the time of the seizure, but his wish was never fulfilled until his sudden death. The elderly man's sudden death was directly related to the long-standing grievance that had not been redressed. As close relatives, we wish to fulfill the elderly man's last wish and do not want to dwell on this matter anymore. Wang Weihua said, "The elderly man's body is scheduled for a farewell on April 30th, and we request that the authorities return the heirloom by the 29th so that it can be presented before the elderly man's body, allowing him to leave this world in peace." She indicated that they are now in Europe and unable to return, but have appointed a lawyer who can receive it. Duan concluded, "Please understand our feelings and the elderly man's wishes before his death. We look forward to a prompt response from the CCP authorities, so that the elderly man can be respected and rest in peace. We also hope that you will not make things difficult for us anymore." Hours after Du Wen's open letter to Xi Jinping was released, the Ho-Ho police urgently ordered the return of the silver dollars. According to Radio Free Asia, Du Wen, the former executive director of the Legal Advisory Office of the Inner Mongolia government, was involved in the public gifting case related to the former vice chairman of the Inner Mongolia CPPCC, former director of the Public Security Department Zhao Liping, and former deputy secretary general of the Inner Mongolia government, former director of the Legal Affairs Office Wu Zhizhong, which had caused a sensation in China. Du Wen, after being released, appealed to the Supreme Court of China for a long time to no avail. 6 months ago, Du Wen and his wife left China and, with the assistance of an overseas human rights organization, obtained a humanitarian visa issued by the Belgian government. Within hours of sending the open letter to Xi Jinping, the Ho-Ho public security called Du Wen demanding he delete the video, then informed him that the seized silver dollars would be immediately returned, but found some of the silver dollars had been swapped. He said, "The chief of Saihan District Public Security Bureau personally instructed that the recognizable silver dollars are over 70, while the other 30 need further verification." The report states that Du Wen's father is Han Chinese and his mother is Mongolian. His Mongolian name is Ulan Tuk. Du Wen had repeatedly collaborated with the China State Council's Government Rule of Law Research Center on research related to the current state of rule of law in China, and had served as a legal advisor to Hu Chunhua, Yang Jing, and Bader, among others. Du Wen was imprisoned for 12 years and 8 months in 2010 for a case involving opposition to government encroachment on Catholic Church property and provincial government bribery. Regarding this, netizens expressed skepticism and frustration towards the CCP, likening seeking justice from officials to negotiating with a tiger for its skin. Chinese self-media suffer as authorities launch a new round of crackdowns, observers reveal their purpose. The Chinese authorities have launched a new round of crackdowns on self-media, according to a notice issued by the Internet Information Office of the Central Committee of the CCP. The campaign, named Clear and Rectify Self-Media Bottomless Traffic Chasing, will last 2 months nationwide. Observers believe this is a brainwashing effort aimed at ensuring the public hears only one voice, one logic, and one set of facts to stabilize the regime by unifying public opinion. The campaign focuses on self-media that create sensational hotspots by blending truth and fiction and information traps, ignoring public interest, violating public order and good customs, and unscrupulously chasing traffic. Key issues include fabricating stories, exploiting hot social topics, setting biased agendas, creating inappropriate public figures, and distributing new yellow journalism that uses sensationalist expression to attract attention with eye-catching headlines and covers, leading to unreliable and low-quality information. The campaign aims to curb the posing and faking trend in self-media, limit the space for bottomless traffic chasing, enhance the credibility of information published by self-media, and cut off the toxic traffic monetization chain. The goal is to expand the reach of high-quality information to create a clean and upright online space. Liu Shooting, a policy analyst at the Institute for National Defense and Security Research in Taiwan, suggested to Voice of America that one reason for the crackdown might be the instant surge in influencer traffic, which disrupts the CCP's plans for online opinion guidance, forcing them to push their agenda further. Since Xi Jinping's rise to power, prioritizing security, particularly party control of the internet, has been a key policy. She stresses that without cybersecurity, there is no national security, which, in this context, refers to the security of the regime itself. Self-media challenge the past system of party-controlled media, as they operate beyond the CCP's control, posing a security threat. If self-media publish views harmful to China's economy, they are deemed criminal, highlighting the failure of the CCP's internet governance. This leads to an ever-expanding scope of crackdowns, escalating the costs of maintaining stability. Wang Jian, who has worked in journalism for nearly 30 years in China and Hong Kong and now hosts the YouTube channel Wang Jian Daily Watch in the United States, told Voice of America that fabrications and various extreme behaviors are inevitable phenomena in the development of the market. However, the people's eyes are sharp, and they will quickly recognize and ultimately reject these. The market will self-regulate without the need for CCP intervention. In China, all popular bloggers, big versus, are seen as potential threats due to their massive followings, prompting the CCP to set rules and make examples of them. He added that the campaign is essentially a brainwashing project to ensure the public hears only one narrative. Voice of America also cited analysts who pointed out that the CCP's state media, which has been evident in manipulating public opinion during international events and even engaging in online bullying, should be the ones under scrutiny. For instance, during the Israel-Palestine conflict, CCTV used its TikTok account to rebroadcast programs related to the Israeli factor in U.S. elections to foster hostility towards the U.S. and promote negative stereotypes of Jews, spreading hate speech through influencers and nationalists. Additionally, Su Xiaozhong, a Chinese-Australian journalist and researcher at the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, ASPI, has been attacked by Xinhua and dozens of other Chinese media outlets as a traitor and witch for revealing the political persecution of Uyghurs in Xinjiang. Furthermore, following the upgrade in relations with Taiwan, which led to the establishment of the Taiwan Representative Office in Lithuania, the CCP's Global Times used derogatory terms like rats, fleas, and mosquitoes in its editorials, which go beyond the usual understanding of state media language. This indicates that the behavior of the CCP's official media, whether in terms of sensational expression or violating standards of public order and good customs, actually contravenes the standards of the CCP's own special rectification campaign. Economic recession, net profits of China's 5 major banks fall in the first quarter. China's economy continues to decline, and not even the beautified official data can hide it anymore. The 6 major state-owned banks in China have recently released their financial reports for the first quarter of 2024, showing that 5 of them experienced a drop in net profits, while the other also saw a decrease in operating income. According to these financial reports, in the first quarter of 2024, the Bank of China, Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, China Construction Bank, and Agricultural Bank of China all reported declines in both operating income and net profits. The Bank of China reported operating income of 160.818 billion yuan, approximately $22.21 billion, down 3.01% year-over-year. Its net profit was 59.973 billion yuan, around $8.3 billion, with net profit attributable to the parent company's owners at 55.989 billion yuan, around $7.7 billion, down 2.84% and 2.9% respectively. The Industrial and Commercial Bank of China had total operating income of 219.843 billion yuan, approximately $30.4 billion, down 3.41% year-over-year. Its net profit was 88.062 billion yuan, around $12.2 billion, down 2.98%, with net profit attributable to the parent at 87.653 billion yuan, around $12.1 billion, down 2.78%. China Construction Bank's operating income was 200.928 billion yuan, approximately $27.8 billion, down 2.97%. Its net profit was 86.907 billion yuan, around $12 billion, with net profit attributable to its shareholders at 86.817 billion yuan, around $11.99 billion, down 2.51% and 2.17% respectively. The Agricultural Bank of China's main operating income was 186.021 billion yuan, approximately $25.7 billion, down 1.76%. Its net profit was 70.839 billion yuan, around $9.8 billion, down 1.77%, with net profit attributable to the parent at 70.386 billion yuan, around $9.7 billion, down 1.63%. Meanwhile, the Postal Savings Bank saw a decline in net profit despite an increase in operating income, whereas the Bank of Communications experienced a decrease in operating income but an increase in net profit. The Postal Savings Bank had a total operating income of 89.430 billion yuan, approximately $12.4 billion, up 1.44% year-over-year. Its net profit was 25.957 billion yuan, around $3.6 billion, down 1.25%, with net profit attributable to the parent at 25.926 billion yuan, around $3.58 billion, down 1.35%. The Bank of Communications had operating income of 67.059 billion yuan, approximately $9.3 billion, virtually unchanged year-over-year. However, it achieved a net profit, attributable to the parent company shareholders, of 24.988 billion yuan, around $3.45 billion, up 1.44%. On the X platform, netizens commented, "The CCP's economy is finished." Other netizens believe none of these numbers are real, implying that the CCP fabricates data, and the actual situation may be even worse. Chinese virologist Zhang Yongzhen expelled for leaking state secrets, retaliation by CCP. Chinese virologist Zhang Yongzhen, who shared the new coronavirus sequence with the international community, has faced repeated difficulties from the authorities. Recently, he was asked to vacate his laboratory and staged a sit-in protest at the lab's door in response. On April 29, Zhang posted on Weibo that he and his team were abruptly notified last Thursday to vacate their laboratory within 2 days. He stated that despite the heavy rain, he was not allowed to enter the laboratory to complete his unfinished experiments or retrieve his personal belongings. Photos circulating online show Zhang sitting on the ground at the entrance of the East China Institute of Pathogen Biology, with several security personnel behind him. Another photo shows him lying on the ground, spending the night there. The incident has garnered widespread attention on the Chinese internet. On the same day, the Shanghai Public Health Clinical Center issued a statement saying that Zhang's lab was closed for safety reasons, and that they had provided him with another office space. The head of the center, Fan Xiaohong, told the Southern Weekend that Zhang's cooperation agreement with the institution had terminated in October 2022 and he currently has no personnel or collaborative relationship with us, he is just refusing to leave. Previously, a netizen claiming to be a student from Zhang's research group posted on Weibo on the 27th, alleging that the Shanghai Public Health Clinical Center unilaterally terminated Zhang's research work, withheld research funding, and obstructed COVID-19 origin tracing efforts. The netizen also revealed that Zhang was transferred from the Chinese CDC to the Shanghai Public Health Clinical Center in February 2020 but has not been officially employed, leading to the forced closure of his lab and his subsequent unemployment and loss of social security. Zhang retweeted the netizen's post on Weibo, but it was later deleted. According to BBC Chinese, in early January 2020, Zhang's team quickly identified the RNA sequence of SARS-CoV-2 and published it online, enabling health authorities worldwide to rapidly identify this mysterious pathogen. The New York Times reported that although other Chinese research teams had also sequenced the virus, none published their results due to authorities' prohibition on scientists releasing information independently. Zhang's contributions received international acclaim. He was included in Nature magazine's Nature's 10 of the Year and was named one of the 100 most influential people by Time magazine. According to the South China Morning Post, the day after the sequence was published, Zhang's lab was ordered by the Shanghai Health Commission to close for rectification. On the international social media platform X, netizens commented that for the CCP, publishing the full genome sequence of the coronavirus equals leaking state secrets. Another user remarked that Zhang's plight reminds me of the fate of those foreign-educated doctors who returned in the early days of the regime. Truly, following the Communist Party is like running into a crematorium. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.